on, we need to talk.
It's become clear that there's a different type of academic education that is happening as technology progresses. Over the last few seasons, I've become introduced to young people who do this, who have an interest in the academic aspects of food production or food systems. And I've had the opportunity to read some of their writings. The young people who have the interest in the food systems education from an academic perspective, or even small-scale agriculture from an academic perspective, they have the benefit and extra tool of having OpenAI and ChatGPT to help them write many of their necessary documents for being accepted to fellowships or being accepted into higher education systems. And that is very different than their professors. Their professors may or may not even know about it. They may or may not know anything about having these kind of research and writing tools in an academic setting.
June 13th, Thursday the 13th, got us reflecting on couple different interesting topics, which are education in the agricultural and food system space, as well as compensation in that space, right? We're looking at it from this perspective. In the Grow Where You Are collective, Grow Where You Are has been a functioning LLC entity since 2014.
Look at how much work this place needs. We're gonna clean this up nice. We're gonna get all these weeds out of here so the ginger stands taller. You'll see it soon.
In 2014, we were established. Grow Where You Are was established. And the collective of people that have worked and continue to work with Grow Where You Are mainly people who have come into the food system for culinary reasons or health reasons. None of us who are the originators of the Grow Where You Are collective came into the food system space through academic agricultural background. And now here we are, it's 10 years later, and we are interfacing with young people who are entering into the food system space, whether it's through agricultural education or it's through food systems education. But they're coming into it from studying, from going to an institution. And when it comes to going to an institution, you gotta turn in papers to go to an institution. I've had the opportunity now to review papers from young people who are trying to apply for either fellowships or higher education opportunities. And these young people have the research tools of the internet. And they also have the writing tools of OpenAI and ChatGPT. Their professors are probably my age. They didn't have those kind of tools. What they had was they had to research, and they had to write, and they had to develop a voice, and they had to edit, and they had to, do drafts and proofreads and pass it on to your family members and have them read it and see if it makes sense to a layman and see if it makes sense to someone higher up. All of that had to happen for the professors. And now they got students who can program a computer algorithm to even write in their own voice, but have access to be able to scrape the internet for the most up-to-date data. Look at this crop, y'all. What crop is this? What does that look like to you? We staggered them in this grow house. We're gonna get the different grasses and things that are growing in between them out. And this is always the kind of activity, weeding is always the kind of activity that gives us an opportunity to clear our mind. So in looking at reviewing these papers and then seeing how these young people are functioning on the farms, it's become clear to me that I'm not able to determine whether somebody is qualified to do this kind of work based on what they write. What I am able to do, and what Grow Where You Are can offer, is we can be a powerful incubator, especially for young people who are coming from an urban environment, maybe have done community garden or urban gardening and urban farming, who are transitioning
to market level gardening, like a market farm type of curriculum. We have come across, based on many of our interns, we've come across great books, great resources that are helping us because we're backing into this understanding. We are a group of people who are urban dwellers. My first book, Grow Where You Are, is an introduction to urban agriculture for the conscious urban dweller. We're urban dwellers who ended up having health crises or an awakened consciousness about the food system, whether it's about toxins or it's been years that we've been able to successfully do this work, even with limited to no agricultural education for us in the leadership. What we have done is study with teachers who set up spaces, whether it was for medicine, growing and preparation, or urban farming, community garden type of vibrations. People who set up these spaces out of a need, out of a necessity, without even having the concept that they were going to be able to earn a living off of it, or that there would be grant opportunities for it. We're talking about late 90s, early 2000s for many of us who are starting this work. And even getting here to Atlanta in 2006, there were very limited resources for urban farmers and gardeners. People hadn't seen it done in a way that was successful. So, as we continue to weed this ginger, I say, thankfully, over the years of doing this work, we are meeting young people who are more formally educated than us, who are introducing us to resources and books that give us ideas or even validate things that we've already been doing. The ways we've been composting, the ways we've been feeding the soil, the ways we've been dealing with pest control and pest management. Some of it has been intuitive as we've grown, but most of it has been trial and error. Most of it has been gleaning from other people who aren't even doing it at the scale that we're doing it at. So now to have these resources coming through these young people, and we're seeing that they have the book intellectual introduction to this information. And yet it's a matter of application, the application age, right? We're in the application. We have to look at it and say, what are we now offering? What is the value that we offer to somebody who comes to us who has a better introduction of the vocabulary, of the systems, of the resources available to do this work? What do we offer? What we offer is the discipline. What we offer is the experience of being at the market table and how to communicate with customers. What we offer is years of having successful and unsuccessful grant applications and community-based partnerships. That's invaluable. And that's not anything that ChatGPT can offer us. It can write about it based on what we've already inputted into the system, but it cannot give us the opportunity of that one-on-one opportunity of showing up at a farmer's market with produce that doesn't look that damn good and then going home with the produce and with no money. It can't give us the opportunity to learn how to complement and educate our customers. This all has to happen experientially. So what we're thinking now is something that we are going to be developing with your help, especially our Patreon people. You always want to have the right tool for the job. That arrow hoe allows us to get into these smaller spaces, work around existing plants. And so this is the same thing that what's happening here. We're going to get right to the point. The point is that Grow Where You Are is now capable of taking and accepting, I should say, university partnerships, where we bring on university students who are interested in food systems, who are already matriculating through the different agricultural programs, and we allow them to be placed on our sites for a season or for a year, and they learn the hands-on of what they're seeing in the book or what they're picking up through OpenAI algorithms, and see if these things actually work. Come to a farm and see which ones have been self-selected in and out of rotation, whether it's different crop varieties, whether it's different methodologies for weed suppression. We are open to partnering with agroecology centers at universities across the country and bring on key students
before major investment is made in them, to find out that they can't actually deal with the heat or are not actually interested in being in one place. Many people are trying to travel around all the time and they think farming is a good thing and I'll just go wherever I go and farm wherever I land. They find out that that's maybe not the best way, because you don't get to actually understand the microclimates, you don't get to understand the soil structures, you don't get to understand the economic systems that would move the food around. And if those are not concerns, then we're not actually doing agriculture, because those are the key points. Agriculture is the science, art, and business of cultivating soil, raising livestock, and producing amazing food. How can you help us? How can you help us develop these partnerships and develop the agreements that are going to be necessary for these partnerships to work? What do we need to write in for as expectations for the young people? And what expectations should they have of us? If they know they're going to people who are autodidactic, if they're coming to a group of people who are self-taught, or not even self-taught, but taught outside of the system, then what are you expecting to get from us? Thank y'all. Grow where you are. Look at the difference between the grass and the ginger. This is what we have to be careful of. Sometimes the grass will partner up so close with the ginger, then in weeding the grass, the ginger comes out. What do we do in a situation like this? Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look nice? It's already developing nicely. Smells great. If that happens, you just dig it back deeper and place it back in immediately, and then we'll water this right after we're done weeding the rest of it.
In 2006, I began producing food for a living. And since that time, I've never had to convince myself that the work I'm doing matters, or the work I'm doing has value. When we consider that there is plenty of money printing happening and taxation happening in order to keep wars going, especially in Ukraine, then what does it mean for our food system? Where will the infrastructure come from for a successful, abundant, safe food system? The corporate food system in America is very, very vulnerable and very under-resourced or mis-resourced, or having misallocated resources. And it brings the idea that if with the amount of money that the United States government prints in order to maintain over 800 military bases around the globe, and to maintain weapons productions to send off to other countries to kill neighboring residents, that money reinvested into the food system, into the infrastructure, the labor, the training, and the education of new members in the United States food system, could transform all of our health rapidly and dramatically.